Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and in this video, we're gonna have some fun with our 2012 Raptor. Keep in mind, guys, we're gonna have a ton of cool truck content coming your way very soon, so you have to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. But for now, enjoy the Raptor. This is a cool truck. Not just any cool truck, of course, but a Raptor. Yeah. Now, in this video, we plan on doing a couple of cool things to said cool truck, and then take it off-road and get it very, very muddy. Sound good? You bet. The cool truck in this case is, of course, the OG Raptor here, 2012 Blue Flame Super Cab to be exact. Now in this video, we're not exactly gonna reinvent the wheel here, gang, because let's face it, this thing is pretty damn awesome in factory form. Instead, we're just gonna crank things up a little bit, make things a little louder, a little faster, and add a few appearance parts as well. So what do you say we dive right in? Now right off the bat, you can tell we gave this thing a little bit of a facelift thanks to the Rogue Racing throttle front bumper here, complete with the mesh side skins, vented skid plate, the whole 9 yards. Now yes, off-road bumpers like this tend to be on the expensive side, but you're getting a few things in return. First and foremost, I really like the throttle because, yes, it's giving the truck a little bit more of that off-road or Baja look, but at the same time, it's not completely over the top like some other options in the aftermarket. In fact, I like to refer to the throttle here as the minimalist off-road bumper. Secondly, this thing is packing a ton of functionality. Strong tubular steel construction throughout, 3/16 inch thick aluminum skid plate, which actually does extend a little bit further than the factory skid plate here on the Raptor, protecting all your vitals up front. In addition to that, you are looking at the aluminum mesh here, which despite what you might think, isn't just for appearance only. Instead, Rogue designed this to flow air through different areas of the front of the truck. For instance, this portion here helps keep those Fox Racing struts and shocks a little bit cooler up front. The radiator, of course, gets a little bit more airflow here with the throttle, and they also claim that this will help keep heat exchangers a little bit cooler as well if you do run a supercharged application on your Raptor. In addition to that burly construction and the aluminum mesh here, the Rogue Racing throttle can accommodate a winch and mount if you'd like. We didn't opt for that with this particular build, and hopefully that's a decision we won't regret later on when we do take this thing off-road. Along with that, Rogue Racing, the throttle here, basically gives you the equivalent of the sun, allowing you to mount 3 40-inch radius light bars, one of the only options in the aftermarket, essentially giving you the ability to turn night into day. Now we didn't test that claim, but we did throw one 40-inch LED light bar up here from KC. It's their C-Series 40-inch light bar. And let's be honest, guys, this will be more than enough for most owners out there who aren't running in the Baja 1000. KC is one of the longest running names in the aftermarket lighting game, and I really like the C-Series here because it does offer a nice balance between quality and also affordability. Diving a little deeper into the C-Series light bar, pretty standard design in the world of aftermarket light bars, but again, you're getting a nice balance of quality and affordability, waterproof rating of an IP67, and a combination of 12-degree spot and 30-degree flood reflectors. KC claims this thing will throw light up to 1,300 or more meters, which is the equivalent of about 3/4 of a mile. So obvious statement of the day here, guys, you're not gonna wanna drive around with this thing on while on the road because you're gonna make a lot of people very upset and very blind. Now moving down the side of the truck, you can see we did add a few parts, but again, we kept things rather simple here with this build. We're not reinventing the wheel, that is the theme here. Speaking of wheels, let's talk about these new fuel vectors because I absolutely love these things. Now fuel, in my opinion, they're really good at capturing a couple of different markets with their wheel lineup. For instance, they have their black and machine stuff and their chrome stuff for owners who are into that sort of thing. And then they have wheels like the Vector here or the Rotor, two very awesome looking wheels that look right at home here on the Raptor. We stuck with the original formula here with the fuel vector by going with a smaller 17-inch wheel, allowing us to run plenty of sidewall at these big meets, which we'll break down in a minute. And this is how it should look on a Raptor, right? Because let's face it, those big wheel, small sidewall combos have their place in the truck world, but in my opinion, it should never be on a Raptor. Now, as for those meats, well, check them out. We got the tried and true Mickey Thompson Baja MTZ. The M&T does stand for their mud terrain in this tire. And again, this thing's gonna provide us with plenty of traction off-road when we need it, while still also giving us a pretty aggressive look for our wide and loud Raptor. Now the Mickey Thompson is a 315/70/17, pretty similar to the factory tire in regards to overall diameter. In inches, it's about a 34 and change. The offset and back spacing didn't really change all that much here at the fuel wheels, so rubbing was never really an issue with our Fox Racing suspension. Now the next part we installed wasn't exactly needed per se, but I'll be completely honest with you guys, we were just really digging the look of Barricade's new HD steel running boards, so we installed a set here onto our 2012 Raptor. And you're getting a little bit of this extra traction thanks to the raised surface area, making entry and exit a lot easier on even the snowiest or muddiest of days. And the all black steel construction, I think, really tie in nicely to that throttle front bumper, in addition to those fuel vector wheels as well. Drifting towards the back of the truck here, guys, you'll see these beautiful black chrome tips of the Corsa sticking out, which can only mean one thing: it's about to get loud. Now that sound you guys just heard, of course, was courtesy of Corsa's very popular Extreme Catback system, which, let's be honest, sounds good on just about anything, but sounds especially delicious here on the mighty 6.2 liter. Now we're big fans of Corsa around here. Of course, the sound is awesome, but you're also getting premium materials and build quality as well. 304 grade stainless steel, in addition to their patented RSC technology, or reflective sound cancellation as they call it. And this basically means you're gonna be beating down eardrums on the outside of the truck, but on the inside of the truck, you can still drive grandma to church and not hear a peep. So really awesome system, guys, and one that I'm happy to have on this truck. But we did install one more part under the hood, so let's check that out. Wrapping up our make it louder, make it faster portion of the build, we also slapped on one of Airaid's cold air intakes for the 6.2 liter Raptor here. Now there's really not a whole lot to say about the Airaid except that it's a solid intake, it's built very well, fits really well, and does feature one of their Synthaflow oiled filters. I like this filter for the Raptor because if things get a little bit dirty, and let's face it, we hope they get a little bit dirty with the Raptor, you can always pop the filter off, hose it off, re-oil it, and be good to go. Now this is a no tune required intake, so you can just slap this thing on without the need for a custom or can tune. Get a little bit more power, definitely a little bit more sound under the hood without having to worry about any extra parts. So that's pretty much it, guys. Now it's time to take this thing out and get things a little bit dirty. All right, guys, so we're in the 2012 Raptor, and before we go any further, I have to take care of a little business here. Woo! Now that's a good way to start off a driving review, am I right? Who doesn't love a good burnout, even in a big ass truck like this? I just do not get tired of that 6.2 along with the Corsa on there. My God. I call it the face melter. Yes, it's the Corsa Extreme. I think it's very appropriate for this system. But at the same time, what do you hear right now? Nothing. You hear tire noise. I mean, this thing is very quiet inside. I'll shut up so you can listen to it. Yeah, sounds good. We're on our little usual lap here around the building, around the American Muscle Garage. And so far so good. Again, guys, we didn't do a lot of stuff, and I'm not trying to lie to you and saying we totally reinvented the Raptor here with this build. We just threw on a couple of cool parts and turned things up a little bit. Definitely turned up that exhaust. Gave it a little bit more performance, again, exhaust intake. We're not, again, breaking any records there in regards to horsepower gains, but the truck does feel pretty peppy overall. Realistically, you're probably looking at single, maybe low double-digit gains. The old butt dyno says it's running pretty good. But as far as suspension, obviously everything's unchanged, right? I mean, we still have the Fox Racing stuff on there. We did change the wheels and tires, but we stuck to the Raptor recipe in regards to 17-inch wheel, big sidewall. So yes, maybe adding a little bit more of a larger wheel, taking away some of that sidewall might give the truck a slightly sportier feel, but this truck needs some meat on it. I mean, running a 20-inch wheel with a 35, I have that on my F150. It's great for like a mall crawler and a daily driver, but that's not the Raptor. That would be doing a disservice to the Raptor. It just looks tough with that big meat on there, and that is the case here. Speed bump. We might have just caught a little bit of air there, and that was awesome. So let's take this thing off-road, shall we? So we're just creeping back here now, and honestly guys, we got a little bit of rain over the last couple of days, but it's not as muddy as I would like it to be. That doesn't mean we still can't have some fun. So again, as far as off-road performance, I mean, this thing's awesome from the factory, right? We didn't reinvent the wheel. Back here is where those tires are really gonna shine. Again, the Baja MTZ, the mud tire. I have the ATZ on my F150, my personal F150, and I love them. With the MTZ, you get a little bit more road noise, but you get a lot more off-road performance, so it's kind of a give and take. All right, things might get a little bumpy. Here we go, ready? Or a lot bumpy. Those MTZs I see are throwing some mud pretty good. That is a nice thing about the MTZ, by the way. They have those nice, big, thick traction blocks, but still a lot of space in between them. So they're gonna self-clear. So basically, whenever that tire spins up good, it's just gonna eject all that mud, which would otherwise turn a standard all-terrain tire into a slick. All right guys, so we got our first official puddle here of the day. Probably should have measured how deep it was, but what the hell, 4 low and throttle down, right? Let's go. Woo! Now that was fun, holy sh**. Oh. There's a massive piece of mud on the windshield that just plopped from like the biggest bird ever. That is fun. Well guys, now that's how you spend a day at work. I mean, am I right? Okay, let's talk about the build. Okay, it wasn't really a build, it was just an excuse for me to slap a couple of cool parts on a very cool truck and then just take this thing off-road and get it muddy as all hell. All in all, fun build. Even better road test. I think that's the name of the game here. So thanks again for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already for more great F150 and of course Raptor content. I'm out of here, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Woo!